All right, a lot of you have done pretty good with the IXL, but some of you seem to be struggling with it. So I wanted to take a day to just review the things that we've learned, because towards the middle and end of this week, we're going to take a quiz and maybe even a test on this stuff. All right, and the thing that disappoints me is before, we were sent home and school was closed, we had actually covered everything but one thing you needed to know, and that was how to borrow when you're subtracting mixed numerals. But we'll go over it again, what you need to do. All right, I was told, I received the email just a little while ago, I was told that on IXL, if you simplify, sometimes it marks it wrong. If that happens, I can't believe it, and I'm so mad that IXL does that. But I went on IXL and I tried it, and it lets you get the right answer whether you simplify it or not. But no matter what IXL does in my class, you must simplify. All right, so again, let's look at a situation. Let's look at 5 3/4 plus 2 7/10 plus 1 1/2. Now again, if I wanted to add these three fractions, the first thing I have to do is find a common denominator. All right, I need to find a number that 4 goes into evenly, 10 goes into evenly, and 2 goes into evenly. And some people choose a lazy way of doing it by just saying you multiply all the numbers times each other. Like multiply 4 times 10 times 2. All the denominators times each other. You could do that. 4 times 2 is 40, times 2 is 80. And you could find a common denominator. But it would not be the best common denominator because it would be way too big. When you want the common denominator, you want it as small as possible. Now, if you don't know what the common denominator is, the easy way to find it is to take the biggest denominator, which is 10 here, and list the 10 times table until you find something that 4 and 2 both go into. 10 times 1 is 10. 4 does not go into that evenly. 10 times 2 is 20. 4 goes into that, and so does 2. Ding, ding, ding. Your common denominator was 20. Now I got to find the missing numerators. And to do that, I have to divide and then multiply. Divide 4 into 20 goes 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. 10 into 20 goes 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 into 20 goes 10 times. 10 times 1 is 10. So now when I add, I can add 15, 14, and 10 because I'm adding the numerators. 4 and 5 is 9. 1 and 1 is 2, and 1 is 3. So I get 39 20ths. And I add my whole numbers. 5 and 2 is 7, and 1 is 8. And that's my answer, but it's wrong. And it's wrong for 2 reasons. Well, for 1 reason, actually, I'm sorry. It's improper. How do I know it's improper? The top is bigger than the bottom. So I have to divide by the bottom 20 into the top 39. And it goes 1 times 20 is 20, remainder 19. So my answer becomes 1 and 19 20ths. But it can't be 1 and 19 20ths because it was 8 and 39 20ths. So don't forget to add the whole number when you make it proper to the whole number when you add it to whole numbers. So 1 plus 8 makes 9 and 19 20ths. And now the only thing you have to make sure of is if it's simplified. And again, 19 20ths, they're only one number apart, so that makes it automatically simplified. So this is my final answer, 9 and 19 20ths. And again, to review the 5 steps, number 1, find the common denominator. And you want it to be as small as possible. So list the largest denominators times table till you find something that the others go into. Number 2, find the missing numerator. Divide and then multiply. Divide the old denominator into the new denominator, get an answer, multiply it times the numerator to get the new numerator. Number 3, add the whole numbers and the numerators, keep denominators same. Number 4, make it proper. and number 5, make sure it's simplified. And again, those are the steps you always use to add mixed numerals. Now, let's look at to subtract mixed numerals. If I had something like this, 7 1/3 minus 2 5/6. Again, the first thing I have to do is find the common denominator. And to find the common denominator, I need a number that 3 and 6 both go into evenly. And I want it to be as small as possible. That's pretty easy here because 6 is the common denominator. Because 3 goes into 6 and so does 6. Now again, if you didn't know that, you could list the 6 times table until you found something that 3 goes into evenly. But that wouldn't take very long because 6 times 1 is 6 and 3 goes into 6 evenly. Ding, ding, ding. Now you have to find the missing numerator. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 goes into 6 1 time. 1 times 5 is 5. And now I have that problem where I have to take 5 away from 2, which I can't do. And that's where the borrowing came in. By the way, I made a mistake. I should have put the whole numbers over so that if I had to borrow, I wouldn't forget to borrow. Now, I do have to borrow, so there are 2 things that take place. The first thing that takes place is you cross out the 7 and make it a 6. And the second thing you do is you add the denominator plus the numerator to get the new numerator. 6 plus 2 is 8. Now I can subtract 8 minus 5 is 3/6, and 6 minus 2 is 4. And that's my answer, but I got to make sure it's proper and simplified. Is it proper? Yes, and usually in subtraction it will be, but you always check to make sure. By the way, how do I know it's proper? Because the top is smaller than the bottom. Is it simplified? Well, I need to check 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 in the numerator. Some people look at it and say it's simplified because 2 doesn't go into 3, but you don't just check 2. And if you look carefully, you'll notice 3 goes into both. 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 6 twice. So the right answer is 4 1/2. And again, you have the same 5 steps for subtracting as you did for adding mixed numerals. Find the common denominator. Take the biggest denominator, list the times table for that denominator until you find something the other denominator goes into evenly. Find the missing numerator. Divide and then multiply. Divide the old denominator into the new denominator, get an answer, multiply that answer times the numerator will give you the new numerator. Subtract the whole numbers and the numerators, keep the denominator the same, make sure it's proper and simplified. By the way, there's something easier about subtraction and there's something more difficult. The easier thing is that you most probably will always get a proper fraction, so you won't have to make it proper, it already will be. The harder thing is you're most probably going to have to borrow. And I can guarantee you in my class, most of the time you're going to have to borrow. And again, to borrow is a 2-step process. Cross out the whole number and make it 1 less. Add the denominator plus the numerator gives you the new numerator. So again, that's a review of those. By the way, there was one other kind of subtraction we should look at. It's not a mixed numeral minus a mixed numeral. It's actually a whole number minus a mixed numeral. Okay? And again, here, I'm trying to take something away from nothing. So remember, I have to get the something from somewhere. So I borrow from the 6 and make it a 5. Now I borrowed 1, but it would be really dumb to put a 1 here. Because, excuse me, I can't take a fraction away from a whole number. So what I need to do is I need to write the whole number 1 as a fraction. By the way, I could write it as 1 over 1, because 1 divided by 1 equals 1. I could write it as 2 over 2, because 2 divided by 2 equals 1. I could write it as 1,000,000 over 1,000,000, because 1,000,000 divided by 1,000,000 equals 1. But I don't want it to be 1 over 1 or 2 over 2, and I definitely don't want it to be 1,000,000 over 1,000,000. I want it to be 15 over 15. And you might go, 15 over 15, why 15 over 15? And I say because I want a common denominator, and since this denominator is 15, I want this denominator to be 15. Now 15 minus 12 is 3 15s, and 5 minus 3 is 2. And again, that's my answer, but make sure it's proper and make sure it's simplified. Is it proper? Yes. The top is smaller than the bottom. Is it simplified? No, because 3 goes into 3 once and 3 goes into 15 5 times. And again, always make sure it's proper and simplified. By the way, the most common wrong answer for this problem is not 2 and 3 15ths. The most common wrong answer is 3 and 1/5. Why would they get the fraction right and the whole number wrong? Because they know when it's nothing here to put 15 15s, but they forget to cross out the 6 and make it a 5. When you borrow, whatever you do, don't forget to borrow. I hope this helps those of you who are still struggling. And again, if the IXL was marking it wrong because it wasn't simplified, then you're doing all right, okay? Because you're doing what I told you, and that is always, always make sure it's simplified. I don't care what the IXL says, but if you need to get the 100%, then maybe you have to put it not simplified till the end. But you really should simplify your answer every time.